Is the flood of all of those like superpower, do you call them chemicals or what are they called?
Neurochemicals, neurotransmitters.
Gotcha. So does the flood of all those neurochemicals relieve anxiety? Is that why taking a 10-minute walk, if you're feeling anxious, can make you feel better? It's because of the release of the neurochemicals.
Yes. Yeah. The most common drugs that one gets prescribed for depression or anxiety are releasing forms of noradrenaline and dopamine and serotonin. So this is a natural way to get that. It's free. You don't even have to change your clothes. So that is just the magical power of moving your body for your brain.
I love that. How does exercise improve focus?
Improved focus is the most common positive effect that has been reported from studies of exercise on the brain. Easiest to find, improved focus. We know it's affecting the prefrontal cortex, and the mechanism of that and what exactly is happening is less clear than some of the other brain areas. We think that growth factors are also involved and that it involves not growth of new brain cells in the prefrontal cortex, but new synapses. You get an immediate positive effect of focus from that same 10-minute walk, and with long-term regular exercise, your baseline levels of focus and attention go up. And that's where you expect to get, real physical change in your brain.
Wow. I personally notice a increase in energy, which I always find to be weird because I'm usually dragging myself to the gym or dragging myself out of bed to go on a walk or a hike.
Yeah.
But when I'm done, even though I'm tired, I feel this boost of energy. Can you explain why exercise increases your energy?
One of my favorite findings is in groups that were assigned the exercise condition, the motivation to exercise increased in them. So more exercise improves motivation to exercise. And the energy piece that you're talking about is likely due to the flood of dopamine and serotonin that go to your brain. Do you feel more energized when you're happy and when the reward that you get with dopamine? Yes, you are. So I'm going to say that it's probably most likely due to those same neurochemicals we've been talking about.
Well, I was just thinking about this morning. So this morning, the alarm goes off at 5:35.
Yeah.
We've got a huge day in the studio. I'm super excited to meet you and to talk to you. And as I was rolling out of the hotel bed, my husband was down here with me. He's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I got to go exercise." He's like, "But you have a huge day." And I'm like, "Because I need to be energized." And I know that if I go exercise at 6:00 in the morning, when I walk in that studio, I will be a different person. And so it was something that I realize I'm doing, especially on days that I want to perform.
Yeah, me too.
And can you explain a little bit about why, if you've got something big going on today, starting your day with exercise is a really smart thing to do?
Well, so it is going back to that wonderful flood of neurochemicals. You are starting your day in a good mood. You're improved your focus and attention, which we all need for a big day. You're also increasing your adrenaline in your body with exercise. What I love to do to supercharge that adrenaline boost every morning is hot-cold contrast showers. So I do my regular hot shower, but at the end, I push it all the way to maximum cold and boost. Okay, it was hard the first time I did it. It's really, but once you get used to it, that's a natural adrenaline boost. And that is like, I need that. If I forget, I go back into the shower.
No.
And I do go back into the shower to get it if I forget it. Because just like you need to be up. You need to be ready for that day. And that, together with exercise, are really powerful ways to get that energy up.
So, Dr. Suzuki, I want to stop you right there because that is a second huge free takeaway. We talked about the 10-minute walk.
Yes.
We have talked about this flood of neurochemicals that you can get by moving your body.
Yes.
Now you are talking about a habit that you have as a neuroscientist, where you end every shower by spinning the dial from that amazing, steamy, awesome, warm shower. Oh, I love that feeling, don't you? And you start to feel a little tired. You're like, oh, do I really want to get out of the shower? And then Dr. Suzuki's like,
Yeah, yeah.
and she turns it up cold, and now she's standing in freezing cold water. How long do you stand there?
Yeah.
And do you actually let it hit your head, or do you cheat like I do and you hit a shoulder?
So I let it hit everywhere, but now I'm used to it. The first time it was only a tiny little shoulder. It was like, oh, that's enough. But you get used to it. And now it's longer. I could do it much, much longer. And now I'm much more sensitive because different places you take showers have different coldness of the water. So yeah, I like it when places are really cold so I could really, test myself, because the colder it is, the bigger adrenaline boost that you get. And so now I'm sensitive to what that feels like in me. So the cold doesn't bother me. What I'm kind of addicted to is the adrenaline that comes with it.
So for the person listening, if they wanted to try this,
Yeah.
and they were going to do it today or first thing tomorrow morning, and you turn the shower to cold,
Yes.
how long would you want them to try to stay in there? And what does it feel like when that adrenaline rush hits? Because I think when you do it the first time, your immediate reaction is get out of the shower.
Right.
Is that what you're waiting to feel? Or is it the get out of the shower thing and then you stay for a second or two to feel this like, hit your body? Like, what are you looking for so the person listening can try this at home?
Yeah. So it is a shock, as everybody imagine, the very first time. And so you do feel shocked and you want to kind of try to stay as long as you could handle it. But if you felt the shock, that's the point. Get out, dry yourself off. That is going to last, I'm going to say easy, the rest of the morning. You are going to feel that adrenaline. I mean, that's why I do it. If it only lasted for 2 seconds, I wouldn't bother to do it. I do it because this is a boost of physiological adrenaline that is natural from this cold, and it stays in your system. And I feel the energy difference when I do that.
In case it's helpful, the way that I have developed this as a habit in my life, because I agree with you, it's shocking, both what it feels like, and it is shocking the difference that you feel. Like I can go from super sleepy to laser focused by simply turning the dial on the shower. And the way that I do it is once you put the conditioner in your hair, when you go to rinse it out, turn the shower to cold.
Wow. That's a good long.
Yeah, it's 20 seconds about. I'm pretty fast at rinsing it out now. But it's a way to really try this and get the brain changing and life affirming and focus increasing benefits that you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's so cool. How does movement and exercise improve your memory exactly?
When you move your body, and here there is a level that's very important, aerobic activity, that is any kind of movement that gets your heart rate up. Think dancing, think power walking. Those count for aerobic activity. Aerobic activity is critical because there are these growth factors that you need to get that hippocampal growth. They come from muscle movement, so you have to have enough muscle movement. They come from release of ketones from your liver. And these growth factors get released kind of peripherally, go up into the brain, go directly to your hippocampus, and go into that part of the hippocampus where new brain cells are being born all the time. For anybody, whether you exercise or never exercise, you get new brain cells. But with more exercise, more growth factors get released and more new brain cells are born. And those new brain cells grow and integrate. And the cool thing we know about these new brain cells that are born in adulthood is they're kind of like teenage brain cells. They're really hyperactive and they want to get involved in all the memory circuits that the hippocampus is involved in. So they make your hippocampus work better. And we know an enormous amount about the physiology, the detailed physiology of the power of those brand new adult hippocampal brain cells.
What type of memory does it help? Because, if you think about memory, I'm one of these people that I think due to chronic anxiety and undiagnosed ADHD, I don't have a lot of memories from my childhood, at least not that I'm conscious of. I know they're like in there somewhere, but I can't quite access them. I know I was there for my childhood, but I can't quite remember a lot of it. And I know that's a very common thing. So is it impacting that kind of memory or the short-term working memory that you need if you're learning a new subject and you got to take a test?
Yeah, it is affecting your ability to form new long-term memories for facts and events. All the things you learn, all the students learning stuff in school right now, that is because you have a working hippocampus, and more shiny new hippocampal cells will make those memories easier to form. That kind of memories for facts and events. Also, I need to emphasize that the hippocampus is critical for spatial memory. Your ability to wayfind is also really, really dependent on the particular kinds of...
What does that mean, spatial memory?
Spatial memory means how to get from here to the subway, how to get from one place to the other, where the supermarket is relative to my childhood home. That memory or learning a new route, highly, highly dependent on the hippocampus.
Have you done any research on the impact of exercise and dementia or Alzheimer's? Like, like how, I don't even know the technical way you describe that type of memory impairment that people face?
Yeah. So, I haven't done direct research. A lot of my research is done in younger populations for the reason that I want to change the movement patterns in younger people, because the longer and the more you move your body, the better off your brain is in older age. What we haven't said, which is key to understand, is that the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus are most susceptible to both aging and neurodegenerative disease states. That is, cells die, synapses kind of melt away in these two brain areas. I go, oh, so that means that if I'm moving my body and get aerobic exercise, I'm making these two key vulnerable brain areas as big and fat as fluffy as possible. I'm not curing aging or dementia, but I'm staving it off. That is the power of long-term regular movement in your life related to aging.
If somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, oh, Dr. Suzuki, I am living that life you described of you in a lab with no friends, and I am alone on a raft trip in the river of life, and I have not been exercising for decades. Is it too late?
No. It's never too late to start moving. And the reason I say that is that we know people that have mild cognitive impairment, which is on the way to more severe levels of dementia, put on an exercise program, you can see the improvement in them. So never too late. Movement is going to continue to have this great thing. It's always there for us. It's amazing.
I love that. So tell us what to do. I'm imagining you in your exercise clothes. Dr. Suzuki, tell us what kind of exercise?
Okay, so what kind of exercise? What I would recommend, and this comes from studies that I've done in my lab. First, we did studies in people that are low fit. So they move their bodies less than 20 minutes a week for the last 3 months. Then we put them on an exercise regimen, aerobic exercise, 45 minutes, 3 times a week. Okay. It was a spin class. So 45-minute spin class, but the point is that it was aerobic. They did that and compared to 45 minutes, 3 times a week of power Scrabble competition in my lab. So that was the non-aerobic, control experiment. And what we found is that 3 times a week, 45 minutes aerobic activity would improve their mood, improve their focus, and improve certain forms of hippocampal function. So is it effective? Yes. We saw it in 3 months, and there is a number for everybody. 3 times a week, 45 minutes. That's a doable thing. 3 times a week, 45 minutes, you get brain effects. Now you say, well, I don't work out that little. And so we did the next study in kind of mid-fit people already working out 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay, so mid-fit.
Yeah.
Trying to see if I actually fit in that category. How many times? 2 to 3 times a week you're working out. And that could be lifting weights.
Yes.
It could be going for a long walk.
Right.
It could be yoga class, like you're just doing something.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay. So we asked what will change their brain. And we said, okay, you could go to this spin class as many times as you want during the week. And so we had people staying at 2 to 3 times a week and those that went up to 7 times a week. The take home from that study is that the more you worked out, the more brain changes you got. And that's great. It's democratic. You earn what you get. So it works on a continuum. And I used to say every drop of sweat count, but then turns out there's a lot more people than I realized that don't sweat. So now I say every turn of the, exercise bike wheel, that counts. What I'm doing counts. Walking, dancing, gardening, all of that counts. And the inspiration is just do it a little bit more. You're going to get the benefit. It's not like it's not going to count. It is going to count. Just find a way to get it into your life, importantly, in a way that you enjoy and in a way that you're going to do.
If somebody is wheelchair bound or they are like injured or they're combating an illness, so they are very sedentary, is there some kind of something that you can do? I mean, I would imagine like if you're wheeling yourself, that's a very aerobic activity.
Absolutely.
So you are moving your body,
Yes.
but where do you recommend somebody start if they are sending this episode to someone that they're worried about and the person who is listening to this is thinking, I can't do any of that.
Right. For most of us that we might send this
Right.
episode to, it's that there is lack of a habit of movement. And I say so many times, walking counts. Do you walk? Wow, I walk. I walk to the car. Can you walk a little bit more? Can you park the car farther away? All these things that you're already going to do. Can you take the stairs up so that it doesn't feel so much like gym going that is, off-putting to people? And I understand that. But it turns out that, maybe it's a walk with a loved one, a walk with your pet. Maybe it is a walk at the museum. Maybe you love the museum. Okay, well, there I'll walk around. There's so many ways to be creative about getting movement into anybody's life.
What I really love about your message and your research is the visual of this flood of neurochemicals and the fact that so many of us reach for something in a bottle and you have something in your body that you can unleash. And I'm not shaming anybody at all because medications save lives. They're a very important tool in the toolkit.
Yeah.
But don't forget about the one that's actually designed by your own body.
Yeah.
And when you understand the science, it makes your resignation over the fact that you've let yourself go or you don't have a lot of time or what difference is a 10-minute walk or turning the dial to cold to get the blast of adrenaline. It actually makes a profound difference.
It does make a profound difference. Little things. That's the thing. You don't have to completely change your lifestyle. In fact, it might be scary to say, I completely changed my life. But it started with that first class that I went. I still remember it was a hip hop dance class. I'm a terrible hip hop dancer, but I still went. And I was like, even though I was terrible, I still feel better. It might be different for you. It might be, I love this park and I'm just going to walk around this park that's near my house. It's convenient. The park's not going anywhere. It's always going to be there. What is that thing that you can do that will be easy for you to do to move your body?
How does exercise improve longevity and decrease your risk for disease?
So I have to turn to my friend Robert Wallinger when you talk about longevity, because his wonderful studies at Harvard that he oversees shows how important social connection is for longevity. That is the number one thing. And of course, physical activity that increases your heart rate and decreases your propensity for getting cardiovascular disease. That's great too. But for longevity, it is social connection. And so taking those walks with a friend, including your pets, all those things. I like to multiply all these effects that come from great science. This is a real preserved human brain. Her name is Betty.
Holy cow.
Can I give you some gloves? Oh my God.